please stand up for this lady and make sure that we give her a massive round of applause when she comes in today. Okay? We are privileged to have with us today the amazing and really, really, really popular Michelle Heaton. Give her a big round of applause. Come on.
I probably don't need that anyway. But I've heard Matt can sing that better than me, so I've been told to get him to sing a little bit.
Sexy. I'll leave that down to Michelle. So yeah, thank you everyone. So same again, take all your pictures and so forth and we're sharing out there.
I didn't think the skirt idea at all very well today. Oh my god.
So yeah, Michelle Heaton's here. Let's give a big round of applause. So we're going from politics and talking about economies, the shit show of the tax system, to now talking about how you can gain access to help. Now, it's fair to say Michelle's been in the public eye most of your life now, haven't you?
Yeah. I mean, I don't have a microphone on.
Yeah,
What do you mean?
What I'm going to do, I'm going to let Michelle talk about her background. I know you know that anyway, but her background, the way she is now, and then we're going to go deep dive into some of the subjects that she's gone through, and give you all the chance. Like Nigel, but usually Nigel's answers were very long, whereas Michelle won't be as long as that, and it won't be very political. So, and of course we'll cover all the stuff about how do you get celebrities to endorse your business and so forth for marketing. But Michelle, when did it all start?
Thank you, Matt, and thank you for the standing ovation. I mean, I never usually get something like that. I really appreciate it, but you did get told to stand up, so it's all right. I'm Michelle Heaton, and I'm in a band called Liberty X. That's probably what I'm best known as. I'm not here to tell you how to get rich, because if I was, I would say don't become a pop star. And I'm not necessarily here to tell you how to stay healthy, because I've had my trials and tribulations when it comes to my health and what I've been faced with, and how I got over things I can tell you about. I can tell you that I'm successful, and I can tell you that because I define success as being able to accomplish what my goal was in the first place, not by how much money I got from it, or how healthy I got from an action that I decided to take. You know, it's all about how I completed something that I set my mind to when I was really, really young. And as far back as I remember, I wanted to be a pop star. I knew exactly what I wanted to do. I knew exactly how I wanted to be a pop star, what kind of pop star. It was always going to be in a band with boys and girls. I wanted to be just like Bucks Fizz when they took their skirts off and the girls looked beautiful and the boys looked really fierce and they all sang and danced and they were happy. And that's what I wanted as soon as I saw that. And I set out my whole life to do that, and I did it. So that's why I define myself as successful, because I completed something, and I'm still in there today, still performing, and that's why I'm successful. Thank you. But as we're about to get in, being successful doesn't always bring happiness. You know, I can be successful, but I can also be very, very unhappy. And sometimes not realise that I'm unhappy, and find other ways that I think is going to make me happy, but ultimately only brings me down and makes me more unhappy. You know, there is a lot of sad times that's happened in my life. There's been a lot of health issues, addiction, hysterectomy, double mastectomy. I've had heart problems. I've suffered from slimming pills addiction, in and out of hospital when I collapsed, my heart stopped. I've been publicly divorced, publicly humiliated, shamed, kiss and tells, lost all my money, tried to work to gain the money back, lost it all again. Found my husband, Hugh, in Ireland, who has been the rock of my life. Managed to reinvent myself. No, honestly, without him, I wouldn't be here. And I mean that in a supportive sense. Reinvent myself, get myself back out there, and then it all come crashing down with addiction. and it was just like that. And I didn't think I'd be able to be here to talk about it.
Yeah, so believe it or not, out of all our speakers, Michelle, you think should be fine, but I see this a lot with pop stars, singers, that this kind of environment's not natural. You put her on stage in front of 40,000 people, it doesn't even bother you, does it? Not at all. So, in entertainment especially, I've got many friends who I've lost due to addictions, which is very well known, especially Michael Jackson, of course, and it ends up being a lonely place, like Nigel was talking about, and Caprice was talking about. The higher you go up, the lonelier it gets. You can't trust anyone, and it's very difficult. And when you start off, and I said to you at the beginning of today, that success is a journey, it's not a destination. When you actually get there, you'll think, is this it? And it's important to understand what's important in your life. So all the other entrepreneurs you see talking, they don't want to talk about the bad stuff. And I'm not trying to depress you all, but I want you to really hard hitting. Caprice talked to you about her brain tumour today. Nigel was talking to you about what he has to go through. Being Nigel Farage is not easy. And what Michelle's done is incredible. And I connected with her. The lockdown was tough on all of us, but when you've got, you used to stay in the hotels and freedom, it was tough. I found it flipping tough. The first time in my life, I had to, I got an incredible home and everything, but your environment you get used to it. And like Monique will tell you, I struggled sometimes with thinking I want to be successful. She said, what the hell's wrong with you? You got everything. Anyone could dream of it at 44 years old. But it becomes your reality, it becomes your norm. And I think with Michelle, she took it to the highest level. And it's hard, because people around you are yes people. It's very hard to stay grounded and know who you can trust, what's real in life. And the thing that's really real, which people don't find that's too late, is your health. And your health has to come first. And entrepreneurs, all of you here because you want to make more money and be more successful, they tend to be addictive personalities. If you want to be a pop star, it's hard work, it's hard graft. Not just going out on stage, all the rehearsals and the sound checks, and then living that image that you have to portray all the time.
Yeah, and there's so much more. You know, you don't see the many auditions. You know, the no's. Like I was traveling. I was working like 2 or 3 jobs when I was 16, 15, whatever I could do paper rounds. You know, to kind of save up the money to get on this cheap bus that took 10 hours to get to London to turn up to open auditions, only to get there and I had to shut the doors. You know, I did that so many times. I just kept going because that was my goal, and I knew that that's where I needed to be in life. It hasn't been easy for me, and it wasn't an easy ride at all. You know, I got brought up in Gateshead, a cancer estate, quite the opposite to what you imagine to be a pop star. You know, growing up in one of these stage schools, you know, being given everything, you know, music tuition, dance lessons. It wasn't like that for me. I just felt like where I was, I didn't fit in. And it wasn't because I only had like a 2-bedroom house. It wasn't about material things at all. And it sounds like a cliche, but it really hasn't been. And if it was, I wouldn't have married you. No offense, you. I would have married Kevin Pearson, like Jessica. But the point I'm trying to get to, that was never an option, by the way, at all. But the point I'm trying to get to is that I think what I knew back then is that I didn't belong. I felt like I didn't belong in my body. And so I wanted something else to make me feel good about myself. And with that came along addictions.
Rochelle, where did it all start off? Are you a product of Simon Cowell?
No, we are not. No.
So you automatically assume pop star, big money. I don't know how to tell the story. So give us the X story.
Yeah. So it was another audition in the stage newspaper. I was 21. I was coming towards the end of my shelf life, because back then they wanted pop stars aged between 16 and 21. So I knew that I probably only had months left of being able to audition for these things. It was another audition. Do you want to be a pop star? Do you want to be in a band like Five or Spice Girls? Would you like to be managed by the best management company ever? And I went to the audition, and it was filmed. You know, it didn't say anything on there. You know, as we walked in, we had to sign that waiver form. But it was filmed for a big TV show, and it wasn't until it came on air, Pop Stars the show, did we fully understand how big this was. We were not the winners. Hearsay won. We were the other 5 members. And from the get-go, we were plagued with the title of flop stars, wannabes, losers. And with that came a bit of pressure that we were just doomed, basically. We decided to get together and start a band ourselves, by ourselves. We announced it on TV, and this is where stuff's our dream, made of. Richard Branson was watching us on TV, and we were on Lorraine. He rang Lorraine after the show and said, I like them, they're the underdogs, I'm going to sign them to B2 Records. And then I never went back to Newcastle. And that's literally what happened. One phone call, one TV appearance. Whilst, yes, we had a platform from pop stars, but we were never going to be signed. They only wanted hearsay. And that changed the course of my life from that day. This girl from Gateshead, and whilst I loved my home, I never went back. And that's what I wanted to do.
Love it. Give a round of applause. Fantastic. Let's talk about the record deals, Michelle, because the money, everyone who were looking at your career, I think, Christ, you must have made a lot of money at Liberty X. And it's not the case, is it? And I'll let Michelle talk about it. This is quite controversial when it comes to record companies, because a lot of pop stars die broke. And you'll see a lot of them are performing right until their last, like James Brown and people like that, literally die performing because the record companies take their fair share. So I'll let Michelle talk to you a little bit about that, and we'll go into the TV and the house struggles and stuff. Any questions?
Yeah, I mean, when you sign a record deal, everything's recoupable. No, we were pretty savvy, Tony and Kelly especially in the band, so we weren't naive to it, like, say, the members of Bros were when they paid for a first-class world round ticket for the teddy bear, right? That stuff happened, that actually happened. These pop stars were spending money on ridiculous things, luxury things that they really didn't need, because they thought it was all free. And then comes the recoupable moment when their album sales come in and they don't see any money. In fact, they owe the record company money. And then for years and years and years, probably until at the end of time, that they have to, whatever the records are making, whether it's Spotify now and, streams, downloads, whatever it is these days, the money doesn't go to the artist, it goes to the record label, and the writer. But back then, pop stars didn't write their own songs, they were given them to the machine. They just were the faces of this. And we were kind of in the middle period of things like that. We were able to write some songs, we were able to be a little bit more business-minded, but not at all to the point where, one would assume that money would come in. So yeah, I've been in the industry for 24 years now. 23 years I've been selling records for, and we're still paying off, what we owe to the record label, and we were not that type of band, so imagine the others. Yeah, I mean, we were just talking earlier in the green room about Spotify, and I'm like, I haven't seen the money from that. Because it costs a lot of money, and back then when I was in the music industry, our videos cost hundreds of thousands of pounds. Like, when we had a #1, there was then no expense spared for the next video and the next video. We were flying around the world. Like, I absolutely loved it. Yeah, it was hard work, but I'm not gonna lie, it was fucking brilliant. I mean, I was single, young. I got to date people who had been on my walls when I was younger. It was just amazing. I loved it. I loved working hard because I loved my job. And that's the era that we were in. Things were given, and there was a lot of money around, but at the end of the day, it's all recoupable.
Danny, is this one turned on?
Give that a go.
That working? No. Hang on. Let me try and do this one. Are they good?
I could interview you, Matt.
You can interview.
How you did it.
That's fine. Okay, so after the pop star career, and then you've done pretty much every TV show there is to, haven't you? And for entertainment, because a lot of these businesses, who here struggled through COVID with their business? Who found it difficult? And the interesting thing about entertainment is I know some people try to do it, but you can't really take it online. So everything just stopped completely. So she was going from TV show to TV show, and then suddenly nothing. In fact, I saw it just before. You don't remember. I don't think she'll mind me saying, but it was Lizzie Cundy's birthday party.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
See, carnage.
She was carnage, she said it, there you go.
I was
So she was walking around and me and Monique were there, Monique was pregnant, Monique's always pregnant, but she was pregnant, and I was a bit worried about Michelle because she seemed like a world of her own. And then when lockdown happened, we connected on Clubhouse. I didn't really sense much was going wrong, maybe a couple of times where Hugh was messaging me saying we need to get her to stop talking now. Who did the Clubhouse thing?
Oh.
Yeah. So we used to go in rooms, and to be fair, I used to have a few glasses of wine too because my franchises was finding it tough, everyone was finding it tough. And then throughout the evening, Michelle would become more funnier and funnier and tell more stories. Well, she's going to be good at this Clubhouse thing.
Oh gosh.
And then I connected with Hugh, and I can't remember why I contacted him. Or maybe he sent me a video and he said she's not very well. And I had no idea of the extent that she was literally days from dying. Because he seemed calm, real calm, like, he's always calm, Q is anyway. Super calm, had the kids. He said, Michelle's she's not well, she's not doing too good right now. And then of course it came out in the press, like it always does with Michelle. Although they were fairly respectful, I would say, within reason. I guess you were shouted from all that when you were inside rehab and so on. So do you want to tell everyone what happened there? Because I think it's important, because the relationship between entrepreneurship and alcohol is similar to entertainment and alcohol. Whenever you go to a function, they're going to expect you to drink. And it's always a borderline. What is alcohol abuse and what isn't? And Monique can tell you too, on December the 16th, I went to the MF Awards. Simon was there. And when I said I'm going to stop drinking for a month. The changes for me was dramatic. Just not doing it. And I wanted to challenge myself and not drink over Christmas and New Year's. And I was going up to Scotland, it was an amazing resort, there's drink all around you. I was giving myself a bit of a challenge. It changes you have in your body, your personality, how great you feel. It's an interesting subject. So I want Michelle to talk about alcohol, what went wrong, and then how many years now? 3 or 4 down the line? 3 years down the line, 0 alcohol. And she still works this every day, she posts every day, she still reads every day, follows the program. So, because it's an interesting thing, isn't it? And most entrepreneurs in the world don't drink. The ones who are super successful, they do not touch it, or they just use it when they achieve a goal, to celebrate something. So, yeah, I'll hand you over to this subject.
Yeah, I mean, I could talk about this for hours now, but if you had asked me to talk about my alcohol problem 3 years ago, I would have told you I don't have one. You know? I had no idea that I was an alcoholic. Even going into the Priory, I really had no idea. I mean, people think that that's crazy, and people who don't understand alcoholism or have never come across it, I was one of those people. How can you not know that you're an alcoholic? Like, you can't stop drinking, you're doing these terrible things, you've got consequences, you're losing jobs, I'm losing my family, I've lost my friends, my mum won't speak to me, like, my health was deteriorating, I had bruises all over my body because it was bruising so easily. You know, my heart was problematic more so then. How could I not know that I had a problem?
How bad was it, Michelle? What were we talking about? Is having a drink every night alcoholism, or were you drinking throughout the day, waking up and on it? Well, I could tell from the outside, because you did it very well for me.
I think that the only way to determine whether you have a problem, which you won't acknowledge if you're an alcoholic like me. If you're like me, you will not acknowledge that you're an alcoholic for a long time. You know, sometimes it happens quickly, sometimes it happens slowly, but it's usually the loved ones and the people around you who know that first. There was so many years that Hugh had told me, you know you've got a problem with alcohol. And of course I would push back, create arguments, drink more on it, hide my drinking, hide my drink use, and drink with people who are like me. But you just don't know. The best way to define it is if you cannot stop drinking when you want to, you've got a problem. It's as simple as that. You know, I never used to be like that. I used to be able to put it down. I used to be able to have enough. I was, you know, normal. Go out Friday, Saturday, the big market in Newcastle, drink absolutely loads of free shots and, you know, whatever I could get WKD. I'd be sick, eat a pizza, carry on. I wouldn't then the next week do exactly the same thing and expect different results. That's where it becomes a problem. Drinking, thinking that this time is going to be different. I won't have more than one. It always was. I can stop when I want to. I couldn't stop. You know, this time it's going to be different. I switched to different types of drinks because it might affect me differently. I won't drink at home, of course, then I hid it. You know, whatever goal I set myself with alcohol, I could not achieve it. I couldn't stop, and that's what defines me as an alcoholic. Not the amount, not how I drank, not whether it was a binge or not. It's that I cannot tell you how much I'm going to drink when I start and what's going to happen. That's how I know that I'm an alcoholic.
So, what happened for you to take the massive action? It was during the lockdown, right?
It was just coming out of it, and like I said, you know, Hugh knew, and I fought with him for a good couple of years.
You can see she's
and,
still emotional about now.
My kids thought I was really sick, which I was. You know, my friends had walked away from me, and I felt like I didn't have anything. But my husband didn't walk away from me, let me make that clear. But what he did have to do was peel back from what I was giving him, so for his own survival and for the kids' survival. And, you know, as much as what they was telling me was out of love, I couldn't hear them.
Sure, well, I have to give her a hug.
Wow.
No round of applause. Well,
you know, push through the tears, you know, that's how you gotta be. It was when I saw somebody like me who was no longer drinking that got me to ask for help. So when they say go to meetings, you know, it's not a lie, it kind of works, you know. If I saw somebody in that moment, it was my friend Katie Price, who I've said it was well, at that moment in time, somebody who was like me. How did they get it? Because I wanted so badly at that point, I just don't know what to do, and all I did was say, I think I need help now. Help was there, you know, and I don't just necessarily mean the form of the Priory, which I was able to go to. Obviously not everybody's that fortunate, but at that point I was going to die. Like, I was weeks, days. The doctors rang Hugh the day after I went to the Priory and said it's not looking good for her. I had no idea it was that bad, of course. But even if I knew it was that bad, I wouldn't have gone. What it took for me was to see somebody else like me get better. And that made me then think, maybe I can get better too. And that's why I speak out about it. Yeah, my anonymity was taken away while I was in the Priory. In fact, it was like the day before Michelle Goes to Priory, and it was all over the press, and it wasn't us, you know, it was just all over. And whether it was the Priory itself or one of my very close friends, I'd like to think not, who told them, we don't know. And so when I came out, I had no choice but to talk about it, because other people were going to talk about me for me. And I'm not giving anybody that power. I had a very good friend of mine trying to sell the story of me doing drugs in a house. And she was going to sell that story, and she was getting paid. And then what happens usually is when a story is going to be sold about you, then the papers give you the dignity of saying, look, you know, we're going to print this, but if you'd like to say it in your words, then we'll listen to you. And there was no question in my mind. Whilst I didn't want anything out there at that moment in time, and I was trying to navigate getting better and get home for the kids, I had to speak from my voice, because no one should speak on your behalf. Don't let anybody take what you want to say away from you. And whilst it wasn't ideal or the right moment, there was never going to be a right moment. Something was going to come out sooner or later, and it's best to be from me than somebody else.
Excellent. It's quite interesting, isn't it? Because she talks there, and I've talked to you before. I think Katie Price is the legend. Kerry Katona. There's the scrutiny you're put under. So when she went into rehab, it was pretty monstrous what was going on. I think Hugh ignored, but I think even the letter leaked that was wrote from Hugh to Michelle or something.
Yeah, I've shared some of that. Some of it is for me, but yeah.
Yeah.
So
this is the downside. This is where you've got to be careful about where you set your goals. Now, it's not just with alcohol. With sugar addictions, gambling, sex addictions. Well, a lot of you I know have got that anyway.
Oh, they tried to label me a sex addict at the Priory because I said I've watched porn once, and it was that's not part of my story. It's okay.
So, Hugh's smiling anyway then.
Yeah, he wishes.
So, as far as success goes, this is where it can go wrong. So now, from the other side, you imagine being famous and going in. I've got nothing near the profile that Michelle's got. The thought of going into a place like that. And they're not, everyone just thinks they're all celebrities, but they're not, are they? Everyone's there, you can't really trust anyone, even when you're inside there, I take it. What's it like in there, Michelle? Well, I want to go in, I'm fine. Just, I'm a bit nosy.
I mean, the thing is growing up, you don't think to yourself, you know, I thought to myself, I'm going to be a pop star. I certainly didn't think I'm going to go to the Priory for addiction. You know, you don't dream of that, but you do think what it's like, don't you? Of course, because you've read about the Priory, and you know, Amy Winehouse went, and her like husband, and you know, other people have been to the Priory that we know in the media. And I thought I should bring some heels. This, bear in mind, I'm literally about to die. I thought, we're going to all go out for a meal, it's going to be so cool, and maybe they let you drink on a Sunday. Because, again, at that point I didn't know I was an alcoholic. No, it's a mental institution for people like me who suffer from a disease of the mind. I have a mental illness, you know. I believe that that drink will solve whatever problem I've got, but that problem will always be there. That's what my mind goes to. And the way that I keep it conditioned, and I don't go to that anymore, is by working a program of sobriety. I do step work and have a sponsees and a sponsor, and that's how I choose to stay sober. Because my mind works like, I feel shit, I'm gonna have a drink. I feel good, I'm gonna have a drink. In the Priory, my first room was padded with no locks on the doors, a 24-hour surveillance camera, and a person sat outside of my room. I wasn't able to have any leads, and there was no doors on my bathroom. And I ran Hugh. I was able to have one phone call a day, and I said that this isn't. I'm not supposed to be here. This isn't for me. This is different. There must be another ward somewhere where the famous stay, or there must be like some kind of B&B around the corner, because this is a drug. And then I start to think that actually mentally, you know, I'm really unstable. Like it's like something's going on. And then I slowly learned the process. It's a process in there. And then doing that to navigate whether you're dangerous to yourself or other people. To strip you of everything that you came in with. And when I mean that, I don't mean, you know, of your clothes, I mean of whatever you build the Priory up to be, you know. Any self-confidence or eagerness was left at the door, it was all gone. You know, I was just there, I was exactly the same as everybody else. People did not give a shit that I was in pop group, because they were there because they wanted to save their lives. And that's what I learned straight away. We were all there for different reasons and different addictions, but fundamentally to keep living and to get rid of a terrifying drug, alcohol, sex, gambling, habit, whatever it was. And the process is there because they're very good there. And then they award you with then another room which doesn't have as much padding, and it has a door on the toilet. And then eventually, my last week, I was made club president, so I took the register down in the morning. I thought it was very important. More responsibility. That's what they do with all of them through that 28-day program. Becomes more responsibility and more awareness that actually I can still behave like an adult, and that life doesn't have to be over because I'm not drinking anymore. But then what you choose to do as soon as you come out that 28 days, that's the hard bit. Relapse has not been part of my story yet. Thank you. But almost everybody I was in the Priory with has. And I could have. I really wanted to. Like, there was so many times where I just couldn't breathe when I was back home with the kids and Hugh. And I was navigating this new personality. I felt like I had no personality. I didn't know what to do without drinking. I spent all my day drinking, you know, through COVID. And that feeling of not being able to breathe and somebody just tight around your chest. Navigating my emotions. I'm in menopause as well, and having the BRCA2 cancer gene and seeing that I might have been dead, and that I'm trying to and then I underwent all these operations earlier in life to try and avoid the fact that I might be passing away because of the cancer gene anyway, and then here I am killing myself. I wanted to drink on that so bad. You know, relapse is so easy to do, but coming back isn't so easy. And all I knew is that I didn't think I would have another recovery in me if I relapse, and I've just got to keep that in my mind. You know, I can relapse like that if I really want to do, but I wouldn't be able to get back, but I've been able to gain. And the last 3 years, what I've been able to do career-wise, relationship-wise, you know, as a mum, as a friend, I would never have had those opportunities before. Like, I went and auditioned for SAS, Who Dares Wins, and Dancing on Ice, and every time the door was shut in my face because I wasn't present, I was late, I was a bit mucky, you know, there's no way that I could have been able to stand up on stage. And those things were given to me when I got sober, not as a reward, but I was able to do a job that I wouldn't have been able to do so. The opportunities that have been brought in my life since then, not wealth, you know, let's be honest, it's a really bad time for our career and there isn't a lot of money around. But for opportunities and work that I love to do is now back. It was none of that when I was drinking and using it. I just couldn't see it.
Okay, we got a lot of multi-millionaires and entrepreneurs in this room.
Hello.
What do you think Michelle's career move should be to make a lot of money?
Property.
Well, apart from that side,
Apart from property.
cash flow to get into that, what do you think it should be?
Buy land.
Her experience, so her life story, her information, that was packaged up, and she was mentoring people from the highest level of scrutiny to nearly dying. How many people are going to buy advice like that? You know, valuable, isn't it? And it's online community, offline community stages, none of these bullshit people who are selling online courses don't mean anything. She was smashing it on the entrepreneurial scene. Because who's ever felt the social pressure to drink but they don't want to drink before? Who's lying? Yeah, you go to a flipping event and they expect you to drink straight away. We went to the Simon Cowell thing on Monday night, guys. First thing you get there, what do they do? Apply you with champagne. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say no, isn't it? You try and find a normal drink, that's what he calls it, a normal drink. You passed the test. Did you? Yeah, good on you. I think, yeah, it's an important lesson to learn. Anyway, let's pass some questions. Amanda.
Hello, can I just say, Michelle, I'm so excited to meet you today because we have two things in common, health and music. I teach preschool children how to be healthy and active in my fun, fitness and music programme, and I make kids music. We beat Baby Shark off the #1 spot last year.
Oh, perfect.
Thank
God.
My question to you is, you have 2 children. How do you teach them to be healthy and active, and what is your most favourite song ever, whether it's yours or someone else's?
Okay, good. My husband could probably answer that better than me. But I think when they see mummy and daddy being active and enjoy working out, they never question it. Why are you have to go to the gym, mummy? Why are you going to go and stay? It's just something that they know. It's just something that they know is part of our life. And they ask questions to come to the gym. So then AJ's gone to the gym with Hugh a couple of times. Faith's now become more active in sports at school because she knows that it's good interaction because I bring friends home from the gym. I think kids seeing their parents active and enjoy it has a massive impact on children. There's no, yeah, exactly. Like there's no point in telling your child to eat vegetables when you sat there eating McDonald's in front of them. Do you see what I'm saying? It's like going to a hairdresser who has bad hair. That's the way I look at things. If you're promoting somebody and you're trying to promote something that you want somebody to buy from you or you want someone to take on board, like children being healthy or being active, then you need to be the first point of call to show that action works. Favourite song? Always by Bon Jovi. Thank you.
Okay, NASA.
A little bit of a tough question. Don't have to answer if you don't want to. About 20 years ago, I was doing some IT work with the industry, and they were all based around parties. So I was doing some work for the Heaton brand in the Netherlands. All of their business was done in parties. So is this situation around alcohol probably is that endemic across the industry, or is it the big box on, etc.? Please answer.
Yeah, no, don't worry. I'm an open book. I'll pretty much answer anything. Except my husband's maybe not. Yes and no. I think it's everywhere. I don't just think it's in the music industry. I think it's in the corporate world. I know many people, my friends who work in corporate organisations, or they go to jobs in lawyers or accountants, and it's all based around alcohol. So I think you get that anywhere. It was around a lot more, you know, in the early noughties for us. Like our record label had a bar, and people just went to the bar when they got from, you know, when they got to work, and it was more acceptable. I do think that we are moving on from that. I don't think it's acceptable to have bars. It's more, you know, what niche to have a coffee bar, or to have a, I don't know, that bubble tea or something like that. You know, I do think people are moving on, but it was very much around at that point because you were uncool if you didn't drink. And the way I get around it now is I'd be really honest from my perspective. If somebody offers me a drink and I say no thank you, and they say, oh come on, I'm an alcoholic, I just say it, I own it. It makes them feel uncomfortable when they're trying to push something on, when I've actually said, no, my husband's never tasted alcohol before, he's never drank, he's just weird. And he says no, and he still gets questions whether he wants another one. And his answer is just no, like he's not an alcoholic, he's not one of me, he just said no. Why do we have to question a no? But I find that a lot.
It's interesting, I forgot about that. That's true, isn't it? You never touched the drop. You got no damn reason to either, have you?
So I say not going to touch any now, is he?
It's cut off. Dr. Irene.
Yes, I'm Dr. Irene Chang. Thank you so much for coming. I'm really looking forward to having you and meeting you. So our product podcast is happy, healthy, and wealthy. So what would be? I've actually got a few questions. So I'm kind of like memorizing it so that I can ask you all three of them. One is, what's your mantra for being happy, healthy, and wealthy? Second is, what is your secret to a lovely marriage? And the third one is, there is quite a bit of stigma with being an alcoholic. So how did you overcome that?
Let's deal with the last one first.
Okay, we'll go backwards.
Stigma
Yeah,
of
that
alcoholic.
The tough one was mantra for me. What was the alcohol problem? Question? How do I deal with the stigma? Well, that definitely pushed me from not being forward. Like that was one of the reasons why I drank more, because I couldn't think of the scenario where people knew what I was doing, and so it was easier for me at that moment to continue drinking and my life ending than it would be to tell people where I'm at, because I thought it was so disgusting. So I was punishing myself a lot because I thought I would have that stigma. And in my experience, it hasn't tarnished my life or career. In fact, I think that being open and honest has really helped dash some stigma about it, because I'm able to be there on a public platform and being able to talk about it, and that I am like normal people. You know, I might be a pop star, but I was just, you know, cancelled, Gates said, knew what I wanted to do. I'm a bit winging it. I've got imposter syndrome. I think every day someone's going to knock me on the shoulder and say, it's only a joke, you can go back to Gates said now. But I think I'm relatable, and I think that helps, you know, bring the stigma down. But I've been pleasantly surprised that it hasn't harmed me, my children, or my husband. I think that there's more of us out there than what we'd like to think, and especially coming out of the pandemic. Whilst I was in active addiction pre-pandemic, and it made it worse, I had problems before. I think in the coming years we're going to find a surge of people like me who need help, who will come forward, because they haven't at the moment acknowledged they've got a problem, because they're still drinking like they did in the pandemic. Second one was
Secret to relationships.
secret to a happy marriage, Hugh. What would you say, baby? All right, I think that we just have a good balance. You know, we're happy because I don't make him do anything he doesn't want to do, and I work when I need to work. I have nights away and he supports me by being with the kids, and likewise. We don't need to be with each other 24 hours a day to know that we love each other. We don't live in each other's pockets, but he's there when I need him, and we talk. I think that's a really good thing. Like, we're quite open and honest with each other. Thank you. And I think I was married previously, and I went through a massive, messy divorce through the media as well. We can hang that on my list as well. And we never talked. You know, we didn't really have that relationship. I thought that was normal. I thought that's what a marriage was. You know, being married, you know, shutting your mouth and just keeping it all in. And it's not been like that with you. You need to be with somebody who allows you to speak your mind and be you. You know, being married doesn't mean that I'm not me anymore.
Okay, so what was the last question, right?
The mantra will be happy, healthy, wealthy.
Don't drink.
Chris?
So I don't drink, and if I were attending something, like you said, sometimes I'm, happy to shove down my throat, and I'm like, I'm not this cool. Sometimes that makes me feel like a little bit of an outsider. Sometimes it also makes me feel like I'm not getting certain opportunities that are past. Do you feel that alcohol served you in any way in your career?
I think it's interesting. One thing she didn't talk too much about, it's very well out there, but if you don't know of it, Michelle made the decision. She got, you can talk about the story. She had the gene, basically, which puts her at high risk of cancer. She was 32 at the time.
I don't do dates very well.
And I had to have a story about the early menopause and the mastectomy and the genetic test.
Okay, but to answer your question directly, yeah, and then I'll go on to that quickly. I do find that alcohol served a purpose, and it definitely brought opportunities in my life early on, because I was social, and I was, you know, hailed by the press as the party girl of the band, and whilst at the time it wasn't so welcomed by the other members of the band, it definitely made our band more newsworthy, and it wasn't like I set out to be newsworthy, it's just what came with, you know, the notoriety of going out. So I do feel like at that point it served a purpose. And look, if I could drink like a normal person, I still would. I'd be lying if I didn't. You know, I miss alcohol. It kills me. It was going to kill me. But I miss having a drink. I like having a drink with my meal. I like the social aspects. But I can't drink without not knowing what's going to happen. I have to continue. And I never know what's going to happen. And I've got to remember that. But if I could drink like a normal person, I would.
Do you think you could have achieved what you did without?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. Answering that question, absolutely. Because I think the last 3 years I've achieved more, accomplished more, and more opportunities have been brought my way because I'm reliable. Because they know I don't drink. And actually, with that comes a whole different sort of opportunities that have been brought my way, very different to what it would have been if I was drinking. More brilliant opportunities, more opportunities like Dance on Ice, SAS Who Dares Wins, challenging, things that they would never be able to trust me if I was drinking.
Hey, very much. So, thinking about what you can do next, and that question was also, I think, general advice for the group. What would you change in the entertainment industry to say about people in these times in the first place? Because you could probably apply that in other industries as well, but you know, is there anything specific to entertainment, you know, the bar and the record company room, you know, the fact that they do themselves,
I mean, I do feel like generationally it has adapted. You know, we're talking about early 2000s, and the record industry is very different now. You don't necessarily hang out in your record labels bars, if there is any nowadays, you know, because they're all at home working. They're all online selling singles, so it's a very different place to be in the entertainment industry. I don't believe it's as affluent as it once was anyway. Advice. I think that if I was advising Faith, so I think of it as my daughter who's 12 and she was going into the industry that I have, is that surround yourself with people that make you feel happy and not drain you. Because if surrounded by people who would drain you, and I was surrounded by those type of people as well, then you want to get lost, you know, you want to escape, and you don't want to be present, and that's what drove me to drinking fundamentally, because I felt like I didn't belong, like I didn't fit in, like I wanted to escape. And treat it like a job. It's a job. Like, I loved my job, and it was amazing, but it was a job. Yeah. It's really, it's a tough one to answer. There's nothing specific I can give, but just keep your eyes open and keep people who are true to you next to you. Yeah.
Next, Denise, I'll take your question.
With the growth in the market for alcohol-free beers, wines and ciders, they've come a long way now, and I did a load of alcohol-free wines and Prosecco, these are sort of no Secco. Is that a dangerous drink for someone who's an alcoholic?
It can be, absolutely. You know, a lot of people get triggered by it. I do drink Prosecco. It's alright. It's a bit sweet, but it's alright. Not a lot. If I'm out and we're having a meal out, then I might order a zero beer. Beer wasn't something I ever went to in the first place, but it would be something just different than a Diet Coke.
Yeah.
I think for the simple fact that it's something different. So it's nice to have options. However, for example, like a couple of years ago I was in a bar and I asked for this non-alcoholic cocktail, and they made it in front of me, and they poured the gin into a shot glass, the zero gin, and that triggered me. And it made me feel really uncomfortable that they were measuring it like alcohol and pouring it like alcohol, but it's not alcohol, and I couldn't get my head around that, and I didn't drink it. And also, it really pisses me off how they charge the same amount of money for non-alcoholic drinks than alcohol. Yeah, exactly. What do you mean I'm at 18? Nothing in it!
It's interesting, because Monique bought me like this non-alcoholic rum, and I didn't know. And I had a few glasses, and I thought I was... Yeah. I don't know what the hell happened. She said to me, you do realise there's no alcohol. I was joking me. Like, I'm a complete idiot myself. You know, I'm sure that happens, right?
I had no idea she was in my bed.
That could be arranged.
I understand. Yeah. It is a placebo. And that's what can confuse the alcoholic brain, definitely. So I think if you're like me, just be wary, be careful, and you know, if you're going to try something like that, do it with people who are not drinking as well. And if you feel funny, just say no.
Okay, entrepreneurship. So getting celebrities to endorse what you do. I've been very good at that. I had Michael Jackson 21 years ago now in Exeter on stage endorsing what I do. And how is the best way of doing that? So a lot of you here will want businesses, coaching, consulting, mentoring, and properties, and even for like rent to service accommodation. If you can get some of the high profile to endorse you, get on their Instagram stories, it's going to take you to another level. And it's important to do. So Michelle, what's the best way? Because I get harassed enough, you must get freaking harassed, DM is silly. What's the best way to reach out to well-known, high-profile people to get them to do collaboration, to endorse a business, or start a product? Actually, I'll give you a case study. There you go. Okay.
Yeah.
Sophia, right? So you've got a reflector thing there where you go out, kids can wear in the dark and reflects up light, and you flew in from Sweden for today. And you're looking to get celebrities to endorse that, to get it in the mainstream, get it in the shops and so forth. It's like state-of-the-art reflection stuff. Keep joggers saying, you're right, you're dogging your own sometimes, aren't you? So how should you approach celebrities to get them to make it win-win?
I just want to understand so everyone knows the value of it. If you were safety
Now she's taking a picture there.
If you were safety reflectors in traffic, I come from Sweden, you know, Volvos and so on. Yeah, if you wear safety reflectors in traffic, you will be seen 5 times quicker in traffic. So that's a huge difference for people driving the cars. So yeah, so I'm saving people's life in traffic.
Sounds good to me.
Will you buy it?
Depends if I get a discount.
Will she endorse it?
Well, I'm not buying it if you want me to endorse
No,
it.
no, no, no.
You see? No. The best and most effective way to get celebrities to pay attention is by their management and not direct with them, first and foremost. Know exactly what you want to offer them. Whether it's just free stuff for an endorsement. If that free stuff is worth a big value, you might get them. You're more likely to get them if you're going to pay them. Know exactly what you can pay them, or ask them what they have, how much they would charge for X, Y, Z. So, for example, if an endorsement came in for me, say it's I don't know why Tampax. I don't know why that came in. I don't even have periods anymore. Say it's Tampax. I'm in menopause, and they want an ad campaign. They want me to do a post, 5 stories, and a half radio day. They will be very specific what they want, when they want it, how long the contract is for, and then ask me for a quote. That's the best way to get somebody on board, right? Management, be direct, be specific, know exactly what you're going to do, whether you're going to pay them or not, ask them for a quote. And then my management will get back, give you a quote, and then you can decide whether you want to go on board with that celebrity. The other way, yes, I get lots of DMs wanting to give me free stuff for a post or a story. I don't usually do posts unless it's paid. I will do a story if I'm being offered something that might be of use to me. So I make a decision on whether I want to accept something free, if I like it, if it's of use to me. There's no point in me getting something that I don't think I'd like and then promoting it, because people who are following me can see through that. So know what kind of celebrity that you want. Who are you asking to do this? Is that celebrity somebody who would use something like that? Or can they not have children and don't have dogs? Do you get what I'm saying? Because then that person has no real need for it, and whether it's valuable or not in a money way, it's not valuable to them. So there's no point in chasing after a celebrity that you don't want to be part of your brand. But money always talks. But going through the right channels to do. Going into my DMs, I might not see it because I have it switched off. Because most of my DMs are people asking for help. Whether it's money, addiction, menopause, and about 5 years ago I used to answer as many people as I could, and I got very, very sick because I took a lot of other people's grief and pain on, and I couldn't shift it, and we went through a tough time because it would just eat me alive, and every night I'd be answering people, so I had to turn it off. So I think a lot of celebrities turn off their DMs, and now and again I go on to see if I've missed something. Get their attention, not, I am a business, what you want is, hey Michelle, I followed you, I'm also an addict, I'm in menopause, whatever you can find relatable to that celebrity will make them maybe click on the DM. It's always best to go through the agent or the management because then it looks more official.
Okay, we'll take a couple more questions. Yes.
How does it work with your service-based business? So you don't have a product to give or offer?
Okay, so like a service.
A service, yeah.
I mean, pretty similar. Like I am at the minute working with something called Rehubs, which is a service. It's an online rehab, so that the 28 days can be taken at home. So you don't need to leave the kids. You don't need to get somebody to house sit. It's not as expensive as going to the Priory, and that you can take the course online and be given the same amount of treatment as you would do. So that's a service, and I'm on board as a presenter for the YouTube channel to help people, to help get it out there, to interview the specialists who are on board. So I endorse that. So that is a service, in exactly the same way as this.
So is it more finding an interest? So I teach financial literacy to entrepreneurs through practical steps. So is it a case of finding someone who's interested in that and then...
Yeah, and I'd say a lot of people who are on like the daily shows, like I just did Alex Conran and Friends yesterday, Alexis Conran and Friends. So all of the daytime talk shows, especially on Channel 5, will have people like that as panelists. A lot of those kind of people who might be celebrities or people of influence in that area that you're specifically looking for, watch shows like that, listen to Radio 5 interviews, then you'll find your basis of what you can relate to them. If they're relatable to you, then they'll be interested in your service. All right, darling.
Would you be more inclined to go with somebody who name drops a few names that they've seen already, or somebody that doesn't?
Name drops work. Yeah, I'm not going to lie. If, for example, Liberty X were being offered a gig, and it was less money than what we would usually go out for, and we were the only one on the gig, and maybe it was Kelly's birthday, so it was putting her out, and we were like, oh, we could do the money, but it doesn't sound great. But if they offered us the same amount of money, and it was with the Backstreet Boys, and they were headlining, we'd do it for free. we wouldn't. But name drops work, because then you're in good company. So be careful of what names you drop in, but it does work. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, if I could touch upon the habit and on the addiction of alcohol, because you said you haven't drank for 3 years, but you like alcohol, you still have, you enjoy that. What kept you not drinking for the past 3 years, and how do you know you won't be? Do you know if you won't be drinking forever, or there will be some breaks when in the life when you start after 5, 10 years, or you sure it's gone? I'll never come back to the habit.
No, I'm still an alcoholic. I'll always be an alcoholic. I don't class myself as recovered at all. I'm an alcoholic addict until I die, even if I don't pick up another drink. I work a 12-step program, so I go to my meetings and I sponsor people, and that's how I stay sober, because history has shown me that it works, and I have no reason to doubt it because it works on me, because nobody could stop me from drinking. I couldn't stop for my family, my friends, for my health. I couldn't stop drinking, I had to, I just couldn't, and when I stopped, I got sick, I was going to die. So I can't tell you what I'm going to do tomorrow. I know that I'm sober today, and then tomorrow's a new day. Thank you.
Oh, let's do it. Who wants to ask a question? Go on then, girl.
Oh, Michelle, can I just first say thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing. I would like Matt, if he was here somewhere. And I guess the question, I think I know probably the answer, is you're being really vulnerable and in sharing your story and your struggles and where you're at. And we live in such a fake world where we pick up socials and it's all filters and fakeness. Everyone wants to show their best pictures, and so people feel less of themselves. And I guess, like you said, the more you go to leadership, the more lonely you feel and less people you can trust. So how can we help you, is my question to you. I guess everybody could take their phone out now and take a picture and put it on your socials, or if you've done a video, you could be sharing it, or something. But yeah, my question is, how do we help you?
I've never been asked that before. You make me cry. Just tell them what I've said. Like what I'm here.
Okay, well then can I ask all of you a question? Do you want to all take your phones out because you're all on socials? And seeing as this lady is in front of
let me
us
pull my
right
skirt
now,
down.
seeing as she's in front of us right now and she's here sharing her story and doing this for the good of everybody else, right? She doesn't need to do this. She could be like other celebrities and she could be hiding behind what's going on. She could still be pretending that she's something she isn't. And Jesson said earlier, be who you are, right? This woman's who she is, and she's sharing her shit to help others. So how about everyone takes a photo and you share it on your socials and you help raise awareness of what this woman's doing.
Oh, darling. Honestly, that's never happened in my life. Come here.
Someone wants to pick my phone up?
You totally made me cry. That's one way to get a picture, babe. I'm joking.
No one has ever done that to me. I've been following you, babe, because I always, you'll see my name all over your shit, because I always comment to just say thank you. I share your shit all the time, so...
Well, I'll share your shit.
Oh, darling, honestly, thank you so much. Oh, my pleasure.
And on International Women's Day, right? women as well, of course.
Yeah. Well, I don't know what else to say. Can I have this? Yeah, this is my one. Oh, no, thank you, honestly, and yeah, just thank you. Everybody, we live in such a fake world right now, yeah? Like, everything's fucking fake. And Nigel spoke about this today, just how corrupt the system is. And if you follow me on socials, you'll see how corrupt it is, because I experience a lot of shit, right? And I've had to, pick myself up again and again and again and again and again. And so I know and have experienced how corrupt this world actually is. And right now, sitting on your social media, you don't realise you're addicted. What this lady shared of not knowing you are addicted, most of you in this room are addicted to socials right now because technology, which most of you, unless you're in tech, don't actually even understand, right? Tech is keeping you on something all day and it's destroying you. Whether you're in a good mood and you want to share your best day, or you're in your worst mood and you're in a bad place. You're addicted to something you don't even realise. And that addiction is killing us. People are taking their lives every single day. So everybody in this room, this story that this lady shared, you're all in exactly the same place. You just don't realise. And the chances are, so are your children. So everybody needs to wake the fuck up to what's going on, right? And we all need to rise together and support one another. So thank you.